Hello and welcome to the Blue Tweezers channel. Myself, Alan, from the channel, and we're doing a solo live stream this evening. No opponent, and we're looking at GMT's Pericles. It's a Mark Herman game. It's a few years old now, and I must admit it's kind of been mouldering on my shelf. Not due to lack of interest, but actually because I found it a bit intimidating. Actually, it's one of those games where the individual steps you do are fairly straightforward, but why you would do them and in which way you would do them, what decisions you'd make, are kind of really tricky. So yeah, I've kind of struggled with it, but I've got some intestinal fortitude about it and thought, no, I'm going to conquer it. So I've run through a little bit of it myself before this, so I'm still very new at it, but maybe it will help everybody get an idea of how the thing plays, whether it's something you're interested in. But anyway, if you could give us a little wave on the chat if you're about, that would be great. I'll just send off a couple of messages, as I normally do, to rally the phalanx, as it were, as we're in Greece. Here we go. Hope everybody's having a good week. I certainly am myself. Looking forward to a holiday starting the end of next week. It's almost done here. Just one more to go. Yeah, there we go. Right. So we're done on that. And COG, good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for just let us know. You can hear us. I think you can. Everything's green my end, but things green my end. It's usually either me not seeing the bits that are red, or it's lying to me. So just let us know. Fred, Michael, good to see you. I'm not going to be unfortunately showing you any amazing strategy here. So I'm pretty much a bit of a beginner here, but it'll be hopefully to just showcase the whole thing. I'm using the vassal module. I'm not doing this on camera. My table doesn't actually fit it, would you believe? And the main reason that is that you've got 4 hands of cards. So presenting that is pretty tricky. I could have done this on TTS, but I kind of preferred maybe doing the vassal one at the moment. But hopefully you should be able to see that. And COG, thanks for letting us know. Good. We can crack on then. So what's the game about? It's about the Peloponnesian War, 300 BC, something like that, between Athens and Sparta. I think it's a 10 or 12 turn game. We're doing a little scenario. There was quite a few scenarios you can do of this. Some of which are really short, like in half a turn or a third of a turn. We're doing the Periclean Peace, which is turn 4 and turn 5, so 2 turns long. Well, let's see how far we get anyway. We can continue it as we like. So we've got the 2 sides, Athens and Sparta. This is a 4-player game. So if you're not playing 4 players, you have bots which take over. So I will have to do that. There's no solo on your own version of the game. We're going to have to use these bots, which has a great big long set of decision charts and a strategy matrix. I won't show them that. They're actually not in the vassal module, but they look a bit intimidating. But actually going through them, they're not as bad as I thought. But there's quite a bit of jargon in here, which you need to get used to. So what have we got on the board here? So we've got there's 2 halves of the board. There's the map, pretty obviously there, on the right, and then on the left we have the 2 assemblies for the 2 sides, Athens and Sparta. So there's 2 players per nation, and they're represented slightly different colours. On the Athens side, we have the Demagogues, which are purple, and the Aristocrats, which are blue. And then for Sparta, we have the Europontids, which are sort of orangey yellow. Orange, we'll stick with orange. Yellow, something else. And the Browns, which are the Agiads. So Demagogues and Aristocrats were the two factions in the Athens Assembly, major factions. And in Sparta, there were two royal houses, I think they were, which vied for power. And the game is actually sort of two, each turn is, each half is 4-3 on a 404. Thanks very much. Yeah, not 300, 400. What was I saying? So the game is split into, each game turn is split into two halves. The first half, we're on the right, on the left at the assemblies, and it's effectively a fight between your colleague and yourself over the assembly to find out what you're going to be able to do in the turn. And then the second half of the turn is actually on the map, where actually you and your buddy are actually buddies, and you're working together against the other two. So it's a unusual dynamic. The game is loosely based on Churchill. If any of you played it, there's a lot of similarities, but there's also quite a lot of differences here. And so as far as the board goes, we've got map of Greece and the Aegean, etc. But all we're really concerned about is these boxes, of course. They have either got blue borders or brown borders, which means they are mainly a naval area, naval-dominated area, or a land-dominated area. All that really means is that when you have a battle, you can have a land and a naval battle, but the first battle on a brown area will be land, and on a naval area will be naval, and the second battle is at the option of the person who is activated to do the battle. So you can have two, but you don't have to have two. So that's really what they mean. And we have these vector lines which are running between, which denote it's in the player aid card, but if you're allowed to... Oh, hang on a minute. I'm running low. Sorry about that. My cable had come out of the thing. I'm not sure if you saw that. Probably did, actually. Yes, my laptop's power supply, the mains cable had just slightly come out of it, but now we're okay. So we almost lost the whole thing there, didn't we? Where was I? Yeah, so those denote what the criteria is to be able to leave a theatre down one of those lines. Each of these boxes are known as theatres. Within the boxes, we've got troops here at the moment. So the Spartans are red, and their allies are the yellows. So these are the Peloponnesians, represent the Corinthians, the Thebans, a few others, who were on Sparta's side. And then Athens are in the blue, and the white are the Delian League, so they're effectively their allies, the Athens allies. So they work together on the board. Everything's worth one military point, if you like, with the exception of the Athenian fleets, which are these long, oblong wooden blocks in the actual physical game, which are worth double, and the Spartan square cubes, which are armies, which are worth double as well. Yeah, Spartans ravage Attica outside of Athens and go home, and then Athens ravages the coast. Yeah, this is more concerned, I suppose. There is quite a lot of that. but is also about getting what's known as honour. Honour is the victory points in the game, and you gain honour by doing certain activities, getting your side to do certain activities. And the honour is by player, not by side. So the demagogues and the aristocrats have a different honour. And interestingly enough, a little bit like Churchill, what you want is for your side to win and for you to win. It doesn't matter if you're winning, if your buddy is coming last, you may actually not end up winning because you add them together to find out which side wins first. So you are playing against your buddy, but you have to look after him a little bit, and he has to look after you a little bit, so that to get that win. Anyway, so that's the map. Over on the extreme right, we've got the force pools. As I said before, we've got the naval units, which are the oblong. We've got the cubes, which are land units. We've got the discs, which are bases, very coin. We have treachery markers, and then we have what's known as the will of the assembly marker. And treachery and will of the assembly, only the Spartans and the Athenians get that. On the league side for each, the Peloponnesians and for the Delians, there's an extra, for the Delians, there's an extra brown set of 4 armies, which are Argosian, which are effectively special Delian League army, which if you manage to create an Athenian base or a Delian base in the Sparta square, you can actually have access to them. They're extra. They come out and you can use them. And then also on the Peloponnesian side, we have 3 black discs, and these are the Persians, which we probably won't get anywhere near in this game, but they have an influence on Persian side, on the Spartan side as well. Finally, a couple of meeples. Not sure I like that name, meeple. Seems a bit silly. We have 2 meeples here, a black one and a red one. The red one is the Spartan 300, so it's the elite Spartan army piece, which represents an army and also what's known as a Strategos token at the same time, and you can move it around the board, and it helps, of course, in combat. And the black one, it represents a person, which is Alcibiades, I think his name is. I think it's pronounced that way. Who was a very influential person in Athens, and then he defected to the Persians, which is why he's black there. So that's just denoting that he's in Athens. There is another token, which is actually up in the Athens Strategos stock area up here. This is the Athenian state ships, which is, as I understand it, a couple of very famous ships they used, and works very much similar to the 300 meeple as well on the Athens side. So those are the 2 sort of elite combat units. So that's the pieces there. On the assembly, we have a sort of two-arm display of numbers, which are rankings for for the debates, and this is the debate track. So this is where it looks a little bit like Churchill, and it goes from 1 to 6 or 7 actually, and each side has that. We've got the central shield, which is pretty much 0, if you like. It's a neutral ground. Hi, sorry about that. We still had some battery problems there. Hopefully you're back with me. Apologies. I don't quite know what's what's going on. It does say it's plugged in, and it is charging. So let's go with it, and hopefully it won't die on me again. But at least the stream seems to have kept going, which is great. So apology again. If somebody can just let me know that you can all hear me, that would be great. Yes, very odd and annoying. And as I was always plagued by technical problems, and there you go. Tonight's no different than usual. Right, where were we? Oh yes. Yeah, so these the ranks on the debate track, and we've got the 0 in the middle. Yeah, thanks, Fred, and sorry about that, everybody. It cut off. We have that. Then we have a load of little chits, and I'll zoom in for this. At the top of each of the assemblies. You can actually go a little. Come on. Zoom in. Yeah, up here. These things here. These are the debate chits. So, again, if you know Churchill, you might recognise it. They're items, they're issues to be debated, and within the assembly, these will be brought down and put on the tracks or in the 0 area, the issues area, and be debated using the cards you have in the game. In the middle, you have the Strategos stock. So there's 21 Strategos. Strategos are kind of like the money, military money or activity money in the game. And we've got the Athenian naval. We've got the same thing down in Strategos. So there are slightly different of these chits. So there are three chits, which is it 2 or 3 chits? I think it's 2 for the Athenians, citizenship and colony, and there's 2 of them, and for the Spartans, Crypteia and Agoge. These are one-use issues, which when you use them once, you debate them. If you win them, they're then thrown out of the game. So throughout the entire game, you only get to use them once. All the others are identical across the two protagonists here. What else? You have a hostage box for each, and this is if the Athenians win a land battle, they take hostages of the Spartans, and vice versa. If the Spartans win a naval battle, they do the same, and that gives you an advantage for what's known as the controlling faction. So only one of the 2 players on the side is actually running the country, and that's known as the controlling faction, which can change depending on the debates. And finally, there's a little skull and crossbones here marker, which is about the plague which hit Athens in the middle of the war and kind of changed the dynamics of the war quite significantly. Didn't happen in Sparta, it happened in Athens, and it can happen a few times in the game. But once it happens, it has some permanent effects for the rest of the game. Right. What else have we got here? Just having a quick look at the chat. Tony, good to see you. Hello, mate. And Simo, yes, hi. Good to see you as well. Right, what else do I need to introduce you to? The cards. So there are 3 decks in the game. There's the Aristophanes deck, Aristophanes being one of the playwrights, and this we pick a card at the beginning of each turn, and that kind of sets the tone of the turn. It's like a random events kind of card. You read off what it has on it, and enact it, and then the Aristophanes card is there, and that's all it does at the start of each turn. The Sparta deck and the Athens deck, so they're shared between the players. The 2 players get the Athens deck, and the 2 Spartan players get the Spartan deck. And we actually have hands of cards in the game. So normally in a turn you would have 9 cards, although that may change to 6. And you also have a faction leader card. And these are very similar to the Churchill cards, where each side, Stalin, the Soviet Union, the Americans and the British have their own cards. But here, because there's 2 players on each side, they are actually not double-sided, but double-edged. so they can flip 180 degrees. So they're a bit like playing cards. You know, you've got the symbols on the top and the bottom. But you can flip them around. But I'll show you in a minute. And you use these for debates. You also can use this for Strategos token. Allow you to earn Strategos tokens, and they're also used as battle cards as well to provide a randomizer. Now there is dice in the game, but they are to do with the bots. So normally in a sort of a 4-player game, you wouldn't actually end up using the dice at all. You'd be just using the deck as a randomizer. But here we do have, and that it's basically for decision making for the bots. Okay, so that's kind of everything there. You'll see these spaces for cards. The 2 debate cards is where you face down put a card to debate the other person for a particular issue, turn them up simultaneously, and find out who won. Tot up the numbers, and whatever the difference is, you get a swing from where the token is, the issue's taken either side. You get the same for the Spartans. The entourage, so the bots don't use entourage, or actually it's named as brain trust, but they but only human players use that. Effectively, you can take 3 of your cards and stick them in a little stack. And you could, during your turn, when you play your faction leader, you can play one of those cards. You don't know which one it is. It's random from that deck of 3. To add to your faction leader to give you an extra bonus on the debate that the faction leader is doing. But the bots don't do that. Only the human player does that. If you don't use the cards in that way, you can only use one of the cards to do that. If you use the entourage, then you don't get one next turn. If you don't use it, if you do use it, you don't get one next turn. If you don't use it, those cards effectively stay in your hand if you want to. At the end of a turn, you can discard them or not, and they would any you keep will fill up your 9, be part of your 9 card hand again. So that's entourages. Okay, what I want to do is just want to crack on here, just go through it, see what you think. Chris, hi. Oh, right, you can't hang about. No, that's fine. Yeah, and it should be available. And you've missed the power down issue anyway, at least. So we go through the sequence of play. I'll just be playing it. Again, I'm not brilliant at this. I've only just started learning it, but we will go through it together and see what you think. So first thing, of course, is the Aristophanes phase, which we actually pick one of these cards. So the card has a title at the top, Birds. So the title is no use in the game at all. What it is Birds is one of Aristophanes' plays, and there's 3 cards associated to each play. And this is Birds card C, so they're A, B, or C, and you can see the C in the top right-hand corner. And then you get a little quote from the play. So none of that is actually to do with the game, it's just interesting stuff. So there we have Birds C, you seek an aristocracy, I judge. Okay. And then it has the information about special debate issues for Athens and Sparta. So it says for Athens, we want to look at the debate issue called ostracism. Place it on the space of the faction with the least honour, and if they're tied, the opposition. Now, I need to tell you whom I'm playing now, because it's one of 4 spots. I'm actually going to be playing the Europontids of Sparta, just because I can do this sort of Sparta thing. This is half of Sparta. So it says the least honour. Everybody's got the same honour at the start. The honour is on a track here, which goes all the way around. You can see it comes up to 90 and 95 up here. But we start on 10, and the Athenians both start on 30. And normally they'd all start together, but if you're playing with bots, then the bots on the other side to you get a plus 20 bonus. Having run through it, it's bloody difficult to get 20 back on them. But yeah, it's quite difficult. But it tells you to do that, so I'll just do that. So everybody's got the same honour. So on the Aristophanes card, it says place on the one space. Whoops. Ties opposition one space. So with Athens, this little token in the corner here is the denoter of who's the controlling faction. So the aristocrats are the controlling faction, therefore the demagogues are the opposition. So therefore we take the ostracism issue and we put it on the one space of the demagogues. Then we look at the Spartans and it says place one space on the faction with least honour, ties opposition one space. This is good for me because the Agiads are the controlling faction, so I get the ostracism issue. So what does ostracism do? It's kind of like a first player token. So if you want to grab the controlling faction in a turn, the ostracism is the way to do it. Doesn't matter what else happens in the debate, an ostracism decides on controlling faction. It also gets you some honour, and this is the other guy. As far as honour exchange goes within these assemblies, you and your opponent are on what the Mark Herman calls a zero-sum game. So you don't gain honour, you gain you shift honour. So if the demagogues and the autocrats, if the autocrats get +3 honour, then the demagogues lose get -3. So you don't gain extra ones. Gaining honour is what you do on the map. But anyway, we've got the ostracism marker sit there, and then we've got an extra bit here. The Oligarchs Revolt. Each side removes 4 Strategos tokens from their stock this turn. So the stock is up here. So what we'll do is we'll just remove 4 tokens and just put it to one side. So this is less activity. You'll notice there are 5 extra tokens that are just living here on the end of each of the assemblies. Those are the strategy board Strategos tokens, which are earned at the end of the assembly by effectively a 1 card versus 1 card extra debate, which is not on an issue. It's on who gets those tokens. But those are in play. Right, so that's all our Aristophanes cards. So that's it for the turn. We don't need to do anything else with it. We can ignore it for the rest of the turn. However, now we get on to what's known as the political cards segment. So you put 9 cards in your hand. So my hand as the Eurypontid is highlighted here on a button. The others are greyed out because they are bots, and we get it through the bot hand instead on the vassal here. So I look at my Eurypontid hand. It's very vassalish. You have your 9. You've got your 9 positions for your cards, and you've got your king because I'm a Spartan, so therefore we have kings. And there's a little box here for Strategos. So while we're debating, we will earn Strategos tokens, and you effectively put them here. A little button to add them from the stock, which is on the board up here. And then there's an extra space for you to do swap. It's useful for swapping cards around. You probably want to, when you get them, put them in order of value, high to low. It's just easier to manage. So I'll get my hand and we'll have a quick look at it. It says masked on them because it's hidden from play. It's not flipped up effectively in play, but it doesn't really matter here. Okay, so these cards, as I said, they're sort of two-edged. So these are all on the orange up orientation. If they were in the Aegeid hand, they would be reversed, so you'd have the brown at the top. So we ignore the bottom half of the card. Not interesting for us. These are our cards. So the most interesting thing is the number in the corner. Always is on these kind of cards, CDGs and things like that. It's always that corner number in the top left. And that's its basic strength value. Then you've got its title. This is irrelevant to the game. It's a bit like the Aristophanes card. I think it represents the various tribes of the Spartans, and there's the same for the Athenians with a number. So it's just a, it's like a card number really, or a card identifier, but it has no effect on the game, so we can ignore that. So it's this little box in the middle we are interested in, and what we've got here is we've got a number, a plus number, then an issue type, and then a number with Strategos written underneath it, and then in the other the bigger box you've got the word Euryponted, again. Okay, again identifying the edge that we're looking at, and then the name of the person represented by this debate. So who debated this? And this is Paesander, brother of Agesilaus. If that, yeah, Agesilaus, something like that. So that's who it is. So effectively, really what you care about is everything on the left-hand side. The big number in the corner, and then that little box with the plus number and issue and Strategos number. That's all you really care about in the card. So we've got various cards here. Your king is always a 5, and this is always a fixed card. You always have this card every turn. It comes back to you. Looking at here, we've got a 5 here, which is nice. Let's just organise a 5. And what the stuff in the sort of orange box is, so if that card is played to debate that type of issue, in this case +2 military, you add that to the number at the top. So for military it's a 7, for everything else that's a 5 card, and that goes all the way through. Let's see what else we have here. So get the 1s down the bottom and get a 2 down the bottom there. So it's quite a decent hand. There's not too much on the way of bad cards. So we'll have to look. Let's just put that to the side for the moment. Let's just close that down, and we have to get the bot hands going. So let's do the Demagogues first. Let's bring that across and get their cards. Sorry, this is a little bit drawn out. Drawn out. My little joke. That's an appalling hand. There's no 5s in it. A couple of 1s, but I don't care. It's the Demagogues. So let's just organise the 4s in the. That's another 4. So let's get those 4s there. Probably can put the 2 there, the 1 there, the 1s there. 2, 2, 2. Oh, we've got an extra 1, haven't we? There we go. That's in order now. Okay. What you'll actually see this Pandionis 3 card is that instead of having a symbol for debate, it's got a star saying any. So that's like a joker. It can work with any of them. Kat, hi. Hi, welcome. Sorry, didn't see you pop in there on the chat. Sorry, it's slightly off the board for me, so I kind of missed it. And Magnus is here, of course. Good old Magnus. Thanks for popping in and having a look at what we're doing here. We haven't got very far into it at the moment, so you haven't missed much except for the explanation of the game. And I won't go through that because everybody else will fall asleep. So you'll just have to catch up. Catch up with everybody else on the fly. That's a demagogue hand. Let's do the aristocrat's hand. So if you can imagine 4 hands of 10 cards, that takes up a lot of space if you haven't actually got the people here, which is why I haven't done this live really. Let's just organise these guys. 4 there. There's another 5. So 3 5s there. So this is looking a good turn for the aristocrats. Their cards are very much better than the old demagogues. 5s, 4s, 3s, 2s, 1, and actually they're good. Okay, and finally our friend or frenemy, I suppose. Here the Agiads. Let's hope they get a stinker of a hand. And no, they've got a good hand. Damn. Isn't that always the way? So we've got the 5s. I got a couple of 1s at least anyway. 5 5 5. The 1s there. Gosh, actually is quite good. I mean, they have a couple of 1s, but the rest of it's pretty stonking actually. That's a bit depressing. Anyway, so that's the hand done. So once we've selected the political cards, then we have a thing called the boule segment. I think I pronounced that B-O-U-L-E. A Greek word, presumably. We actually then work out what issues are going to be debated. But at first, when we're playing with the bots, the first thing we have to do is we have to note the strategy for the bots. We have this great big long... it's like I don't know. It's like an A3 but slightly truncated, slightly narrow A3 page, which is effectively just a list of strategies, and you start at the top and you go down until the first one. If you've seen the old Fields of Fire I've been playing, it's kind of like the enemy activity charts. So we run from the top, and whichever one is relevant first, we then pick that and we note what it's going to do this turn. So let's start with the Athenians. Let's start with and we start with the aristocrats, the controlling faction. So we start here is the first one it offers is Athens is contested. That would mean, are there some Spartans or Peloponnesians in Athens? They're not, so we ignore that. Keep going. Any granary theatre lacks a friendly base. So if they are in a theatre which doesn't have a base, so that would be Eastern Mediterranean is a special spot. We ignore that. We have Hellespont, but it has a base, so that's fine. We don't need these granaries are very important, particularly for Athens. If Athens doesn't own a granary base somewhere at the end of each turn, it will automatically lose. It will have to surrender. It runs out of food. But no, we don't have that. Will of the Assembly. So Will of the Assembly is something that would come up on the Aristophanes card, and it didn't, so we ignore that. There's a second Will of Assembly. We ignore that. Contested Theatre. So it lists 3 areas which we need to see if there are the 2 sides are actually in that area. The first one is now Pactus, which is here, which is just Delian and Athenian. Then it's Hellespont, which we looked is Delian and Athenian, so that's fine. And the third one is Corcyra, which is empty. Nobody's there. So those are not contested, so we ignore this again. The Peace of Kilias has not been declared. The Peace of Kilias is actually the peace between Athens and Persia, and it corresponds to this Eastern Mediterranean where there's this little peace marker with a C, and that's the Peace of Kilias. As it's in the Eastern Mediterranean theatre, which basically takes it out of the game as an area, that means that it has been declared, so therefore we ignore this. Athens is at war with Sparta. Actually, Athens is not at war with Sparta. I know it sounds strange. This scenario is known as the Periclean Peace. The marker here, this little marker here, is a war peace marker. And as you can see, they're both white. White means they're at peace. The black marker means they're at war. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't fight each other. What it means is that Athenian units and Spartan units cannot coexist or move in together. So they won't directly fight each other with their own pieces. Other than that, everything's still up for grabs. So there's a lot of use of the Delians and Peloponnesians, while the peace is declared. Peace can be changed to war by the war or peace, war/peace issue marker, which is here. And to go from peace to war, somebody needs to have successfully debated that issue. For peace to be declared, both sides needs to have successfully debated it. But that's where we are with war and peace. So Athens is not a war with Sparta, we ignore. Sicily is neutral, contested, or enemy controlled. Sicily at the moment is neutral. This is Sicily down here. So this is correct. This gives us to read along this this strategy, and its name is Granary. So I'm going to, I think there's a notes. Yeah, there's a little notes thing here. So I'm going to say, now the first thing we do to check whether that's actually the strategy is we roll a dice. And we roll a d6, and it will be the strategy unless we roll a 6. We rolled a 5, so they've accepted that strategy. So the strategy is known as Granary. So we'll put in Aristo's Granary. That's right. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that the issues they're interested in, these tokens, they're most interested in military, and then they'll be interested in league. So it'll be that order, and it's one of each. So it's not all the militaries and then all the leagues. It's one military and one league. So they're looking to win those issues, at least one of each of those issues. You then denote what theatre we're talking about for this Granary strategy, and that is, of course, Sicily. So we will put in... So this will be useful later on for the bot movement. And then the issue order is league, then military. It's the other way around. And then there's a few notes on how they actually deal with issues, but we won't worry about that for the moment. So that is the aristocrats. So let's look at the demagogues. The demagogues do exactly the same thing, but of course they go past the one that was selected by the aristocrats. And so we look at that. It says contested theatre, the Hellespont, or any Aegean Sea. So I don't think we have any of those. Hellespont is not contested, and any of them in the Aegean Sea are not contested, so that's not correct. And then it goes to neutral theatre. So this is about expansion. So is Aetolia neutral? It is not. It's full of Peloponnesians. Then the next it gives you is Thessalia. Thessalia is empty, so that is neutral. So our demagogues are looking to expand into Thessalia. Great, okay, we decided that. And that's all we need to worry about for the moment. And then we flip over this big chart over to the Spartan side. Don't have to do it for me, of course. I decide my own strategy. Thank you very much. But let's look at what the Aegiads do. So, is Sparta contested? No. Will of the Assembly? No. Will of the Assembly? No. Contested theatre, either the Isthmus of Corinth, which is this area, that's no, or Boeotia. I think that's how you pronounce it. And Boeotia, hello, there's Delian and Athenian units and also Peloponnesian units. So this is contested. So this ticks the box. So we are using this strategy known as protect key allies. So if we go to the Aegiads, we'll do the protect allies. And of course it will be Boeotia as the area they care about. So we decided on strategies, and normally you wouldn't do this in the game if it's 4 players, of course. Next we actually go into the bull segment. So the first thing we do, and we do this for each side, but they're kind of simultaneous because effectively they're separate. For this part of the game, there's no interaction between Sparta and Athens, or not very little. So the first thing we do is the controlling faction. Let's do the Athenians first. controlling faction has the option to place... no, that's if hostages. There isn't any hostages, so ignore that. So the controlling faction pick one issue, except for ostracism and war peace issue, and it's placed in the centre, the 0 space. Is that right, actually? Just thinking, that might be different with the bots. Have a quick look. Sorry, right. I was reading that slightly wrong. So, they pick an issue, they put it on their 2 space, unless it's ostracism or war and peace, in which case it goes into the middle. So, because we've got our strategy here, and we're doing the aristocrats, a bit Disney there, thank you. The aristos, I call them aristos just not to make the same mistake again. The aristos are doing their Sicilian granary strategy. So the first issue they're interested in is military. So we'll pick one of the military and we'll stick it on the 2. Okay. Then it comes over to me, and I can get to stick an issue on my 1 side. Now I really need to look at my cards here to find out what I'm good at. So military is good with Theramenes. Actually, it's all very middling, isn't it? 3s and 2s, 3s plus 2s, 3s plus 2s. Quite a bit of diplomacy here. Not much league. There's a rather sad one. It's a 5 for games. It's basically a lot of 5s as long as I stick to the bonuses. 5. That's 6. There. So my best card is kind of Endius, I think, behind Theramenes. So I think I'll go for a diplomatic issue. Now I'll go through what these actually mean, because if I went through them now, you'd fall asleep. So I'll put a diplomatic issue here. Then the other side, the controlling faction, then places 3 tokens in the 0 area. We go back to our strategy, and the second issue they're interested in is, where was it? Sicily, isn't it? Is league. So they'll take a league issue and put it in the middle. But they've still got to put 2 extra ones in. So this is where you run. So there isn't another issue that they care about on the strategy here. So what we do now is we go through the decision charts. These are the flow charts that come with the game. But I mean, I'll go through it quickly. Don't worry. So effectively, what it says is there what's known as a primary strategy issue available. There isn't, because there's a league and a military out there already. So you choose the available issue aligned to the strongest card. Otherwise, you do it by random. So let's look at their hand. This is the aristocrats. And I know I'm not actually the playing guy here. I'm actually sort of playing the bots here. But Magnus, yeah, if I have to go, yeah, no problem. Hopefully you can catch up on the recording. Yeah, nice to see you anyway. Thanks for popping in. Right, what have we got here? So LJ is 2. This is an interesting one. So that's 2 options there. It's whether this card is actually Alcibiades or it's Theramenes. Yeah, I think that'll do. So it's either +2 military or +3 military. So Alcibiades is available because he's on the board in Athens. So therefore that's an 8 for military. That's very good. I don't think anything else comes close. Of course it doesn't. So therefore they'll be interested in another military because of Alcibiades. So they will put a military in. Still got one more to do. So ignoring that card, who's next? So there's a 7 here for military, Thucydides. Chiron here is a 7 for anything, which doesn't help. a 5, a 6, a 4, a 6. So we're kind of looking military again, aren't we, with the Leontis, with Thucydides. Yeah, so they will put another military in the middle. And that's the 3 they need to place. Then I've just realised I selected for the Demagogues, didn't I? I thought I was being the Demagogues. So hold on a minute. We needed to have looked at their strategy rather than me thinking, sorry, I thought I was the Demagogues for a minute. It's completely understandable because when I practiced this, I was actually the Demagogues. So that's why it's just a bit of a habit here. What were we doing with the Demagogues? So expansion into Thessalia. Expansion into Thessalia was military they're interested in first. So yeah, there's lots of military going on there. That was their first selection for the 1 box. Yeah, rather than me selecting diplomacy. That was the wrong faction. So they've got place another 2. And their second one is League, and then it's down to their cards. So let's have a look at their cards. Demagogues. So they have, oh yeah, they've got this rubbish hand, haven't they? They've got 5 for League, 5 for any, 5 for military, lots of 5s. Wow, lots of 5s. So that's practically everybody except for Eolchius here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, great. How do I decide on that? So we need to roll a dice on it. So if that's 8, the first 4, I'll do a d6, and 1 to 3 it's the first 4, 4 to 6 it's the second. It's a 4, so it's the second lot. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we roll another dice. Hopefully you don't get a 5 or a 6. Of course we got a 6. Doesn't that always happen when you want to randomise and you got a d6, but you want to ignore like the 6 or the 5? That's always what you roll. A 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So it's Phrynicus here is interested in military. Okay, so it's a military, and we put that in. So we've got 3 militaries, 1 league, and 2 leagues. So they're fairly fairly determined of what they're going to do. No messing around. Okay, so on our side, the Aegiads are the controlling faction, so they decide on putting an issue on their 2 track, and we of course were in the neutral theatre expansion, and they're interested in the military. So we put a military there. Then it's over to me to what I want to put, and I'll do my diplomatic thing, I think. Then it's back to them for 3 issues to put in the middle, and they're interested in a league. Then we, of course, have to go. We run out of the issues that's listed on the strategy matrix, so we have to go to their hand. So go to the Aegiad hand, and yeah, this Read and Weep, this is a powerful hand. War and Peace is 8. 7 is military. Well, nothing's going to beat the 8, isn't it, for Sithylinides? I think I might have got that right first time. Impressive, eh? Sithylinides. Yeah, I think so. So he's interested in War and Peace. So we put the War and Peace market in the middle. And they've got 1 to go. And so ignoring that first card, we've got military for 5. Military for 5. Well, 7 actually. 7, 7. These are all 6s. That's 5s. Yeah, so it's another military. Let's do that. Then it's down to me to place, let's get rid of his cards, the last 2. So, this is actually sort of a quite critical point of the game, actually, for deciding these issues, and I'm probably not going to do it very well. what you want to do is to own most of these issues, and then you get to do those issues, the result of those issues on the board, on the map. So you'd like to do it. Now, I've got diplomatic and ostracism. Ostracism is going to be very useful, thank you, to win the controlling faction. Be nice. Am I interested in war and peace? I'm not sure I am. But leagues and military is nice. What else could I do? Well, let's look at my hand. So what I've got: military, military, diplomatic, diplomatic, military, oracle. Interesting. Military, league, games. Oracle's nice. I might put in oracle. Again, I'll go through it as we do it rather than explain it. Oracle, I think, might be an idea. I'd like to do league, because league is kind of like getting building up the Peloponnesian forces, but I don't really vote on it well, so that will mean that if I put it up, it's probably going to be won by the other side, and so there's no point in doing that. I suspect I'll go for another military. Yes, let's go for another military. Okay, so that's effectively our bool segment done, I think. Yes. So now we have what's known as the assembly phase. We're getting through the turn, honest. So we fight it out within the assemblies. So we'll do Athens because it's the top of the board, and also they're both bots, so we can run through it relatively quickly. Each side, starting with the controlling faction, will debate 3 issues. So it'll be aristocrats first, then it'll flip to demagogues, and they pick an issue, and they move the pawn, and you put it on whichever issue you want, even the ones that are owned by somebody at the moment. These markers are not completely owned, as in definitely owned by a side, unless they go to the 7. They go off the chart, in which case they can't be debated back. But with the bots tend to let things go in the game. But let's see what we're going to do on this debate. So the first thing is the aristocrats. So do they need to choose an issue? Yes. Are all primary strategy issues on their track? So looking at the strategy again for the aristocrats, they've got their Granary Sicily. So do they have a military? Yes, they do. Tick. Do they have a league, which is their second? No. So they're going to try and get hold of a league, a league issue. So let's look at their hands. The aristocrats. What's best? The best card for doing a league issue. So Chimon's pretty good. They're controlling faction, so you have Chimon. He's a +2 for any, which will make that a 7. Is there anything? So that's a 6 for league. That's a 4 for league. So he's the best guy. So we're going to put Chimon forward. So we put him on the debate for aristocrats. There we go. Did we put the marker down? We didn't. So that's league debate. So there. So that's what we're debating on. And if we look at the demagogues, so it's a league. So he's not choosing the issue. So it basically says play the strongest card aligned to the issue, but if you don't have one, just play the strongest card anyway. So on league, we have a 5 here. Do we have any better than that for league? Well, Ptolemades is an any, but it gives you the same number. So we would be putting in FELTs. So let's put FELTs forward. So then we calculate the difference. So on the aristocrat side, we've got a 7. On demagogue side, we have a 5. So it's gone 2 spaces towards the aristocrats. So 1, 2. So it's sitting there. And we debated that issue. Now, looking at these cards, so for FELTs, he did get a bonus for the league, so he earns 2 Strategos anyway for his side. So if we go back to, that's the Demagogues. Where's the Demagogues there? So let's just extend that. So we draw 2 Strategos here, and that's come off the stock that's up here. Remember, 4 of them had been removed by the random event. And over here, Kaimon was... He's a 4 Strategos, and it's +2 of any, so he counts. So he gets 4 Strategos for the Aristos. And annoyingly, by default, it's just off the edge of the window. Good. So now we're over to the Demagogues. What are the Demagogues going to do? They're going to just cry by the terrible cards they have. So have we got our issues? Let's have a look at the board. We have military and ostracism. What did their strategy require? This was their strategy was what? Expansion into Thessalia. So expansion into Thessalia. They want a military and a league. They have a military. They don't have a league. So they are going to go for a league again. So they will put their marker on here, and they will lead with, who have they got for a league? They're pretty rubbish on league. Best they've got is Ptolemies here for 5. So that's what they'll do. Oh, we just discard these cards from last round. So Ptolemies for a 5 there. And then, of course, strongest card with bonus here. What have we got? Military. League, we got a 5. League, we got a 6. So it will be Archestratus here. So it's a 6 with the Aristos. It's only a 5 with the Demagogues, so they lose it. So in fact, that league goes 1 to the Aristos, and then it's back to the Aristos again for their second. So they have league and military. So they've got what they wanted as part of their strategy. So if the primary strategy is complete, it asks, is ostracism on the opposition's track? Well, looky here, it actually is. The Demagogues have ostracism. If it is, so choose ostracism and play the strongest card, including the faction leader. Now, normally the bots don't play the faction leader. They just they leave that for that Strategos strategy board token fight at the end. But here we have our aristocrat faction leader is a 5, but he likes war and peace. During the assembly phase, so in the assembly phase is +2 war and peace, or if he's controlling faction, which they are, is +1 any issue. So he's a 6 for ostracism. Do you have anybody else on ostracism? I don't think we do. So he is actually the best for it. So we're going to put forward. Oh, did we do? We didn't do. Did we do Strategos tokens? I don't think we did. No, we definitely didn't from the last round. Let's quickly do that. So the aristocrats earned 2. And the Demagogues earned 3. So even if you lose the issue, as long as you got the bonus, you get the Strategos tokens. Okay, let's delete these, discard these, sorry. Right, where were we? We're putting the faction leader forward for the aristocrats. What are we doing for the Demagogues? So, ostracism. Have we got anything for ostracism? Oh, look. Played strongest card aligned to the issue. So the faction leader here actually has ostracism, and I don't think anybody else does. So he's the guy we're going to be playing. Actually, he's not +2 because he's not the controlling faction. Oh no, he is. Yeah, ostracism if he's not the controlling faction. So he's +2. He's a 7. So yeah, definitely going to put in him. So we got the faction leaders fighting over the ostracism now. Okay, let's see what happens on the numbers. So we have a 6 for the aristocrats. we have 7 for the Demagogues. So the Demagogues actually win that by 1. That should have gone on there. So that actually goes 1 space further, which is a worry. Okay, so the Aristocrats lost that. Strategos Tokens get 1 for the Demagogues, and one each for that on the Strategos. Right, and next we get rid of these. Back to the Demagogues. What the Demagogues want to do. Have they got their issues? No, they haven't got a league issue. So they are going to debate the league issue that's sitting over there. And this is the problem. They've got a hand which is rubbish on league. But they're insistent they need to get a league issue on their side. So they're just going to make the best of a bad situation. And it's going to be Thrasylus, I think, which is only a 3. It's not he's not a bonus, so he won't get strategy tokens out of it. On the Aristocrat side, do we have anything on league? Yeah, we have loads on league. That's a 5. So it's a 5 versus a 3. That's a loss of 2. So that league issue actually goes further up. And another Strategos token for the Aristos. Right, so 1 more debate each. Back to the Aristos. They've got what they wanted. Let's have a look again. So they're now obsessed because they are obsessed about this ostracism. So they are play your strongest card. So what do they have left that's strongest on ostracism? No bonus at all. It'll have to be one of these 2. It doesn't matter which one. If there's a choice, it's the amount of Strategos tokens you're likely to get. This is Alcibiades, so he gets 3 Strategos tokens, but he won't. But he will be played for it. So he debates ostracism, and on the Demagogue side, who have we got? Nobody has ostracism, so your best card, and they're rubbish. So a 2. Wow. Okay. So that means that nobody gets any Strategos token bonuses. So it's just 5 to 2, which is a shift of 3. So ostracism actually goes the other way. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And it's probably going to stay there. Now we've got the last debate, which is the Demagogues. The Demagogues still don't have a league, and they will still insist on having a league. So they will try and capture this guy. I think that's the case. Actually, no. So it's whether it's feasible is what's their strongest card? Their strongest card is a 2. You take 2 of that and assume you won it and see where it ends up. So it wouldn't actually move, so there's no point in playing it. So the logic then says, oh, we're back on ostracism. So it says, right, ostracism it is, strongest card on ostracism, so we're back on that. There's a real fight for that. Demagogues, all they can provide, there was no Strategos of these guys. They can only do a 2. Aristocrats, they got a 5. Easy win. So ostracism goes up by 3. Nobody gets any Strategos tokens. That ends up 1, 2, 3 up in the 4. Okay. So that's their debates done. Let's move on down to Sparta. If you're still here and you're not asleep. Let's have a look what we've got to do. So I'm going to try and do this so that I don't try and memorize what the Aegiads have in their hand. So the Aegiads go first, and their strategy is, where was it? It was Boeotia, contested theatre, wasn't it? So first they're interested in is military. Do they have a military? They do have a military. They then want a league. So they will go for league, and we have to look at their hand, I'm afraid. Okay, league. Do we have leagues? Leagues. Oh, that's the first league, which is only a 5. So that's as good as either of the other two. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, depending on which card. Oh, actually, they will pick this card because it'll earn them a Strategos token. So, yeah, they'll do that. So they will play Phrynis, and then it's over to me. So my hand, we're looking at league. Wow. I thought they were bad for league. I'm terrible as well. Oh, we've got Canamus. Canamus goes in, I think, on a 5. There's no real reason to put anybody else there. I could put the king to win it. I'm not sure I'm that fussed. So we ended up with what? We ended up with 5 versus 5. So nobody won it. It didn't move. I'm happy with that. I earned 2 tokens. He earned 1. So just add 1 to me. And Aegiads. No, it was 2 to me, wasn't it? Yep. And 1 to the Aegiads. It's all very quiet in the chat, so hopefully everybody's concentrating, or you're all asleep, or you've all left. One of the 3 things. So that's that debate done. So we discard those. Then it's my turn. So what do I want? Well, I've got the diplomatic. I've got the ostracism. War and peace. Am I interested? I'm not really interested. I think I want to grab a military. So I'm going to do military. And who am I going to put forward? So I've got 7 with Theramenes. 5 Epicedidas. We've got a 5 here as well. We've got a 6 with Etionicus. Let's put Theramenes in. I think let's best foot forward. We want to win this. What are the Aegiads going to do? So they are going to try and match with military. So their military, they have a 7 as well. They have 2 7s. Okay, sinking feeling. Let's see which one they pick. Oh, Strategos Tokens the same, so it's just random 1 to 3, 5. So it'd be Chiaristophus. Had to be the one which was even more difficult to pronounce. Strategos Tokens, 2 each. And it's back to the Aegiads. The Aegiads on their thing, they want wrong one. Boeotia, wasn't it? No. Yeah, that's right. Boeotia. So, do they have a military? I can't see the board now because of the cards. Do they have? Get out of the way. Still can't see it. It's, I can't bring it down any further. Let's take those up then. Right, they have a military. Next, they need a league. We've been here before, so they want to go for the league. And how well can they do that? League. They have a league for 6. So, let's get rid of our previous. Keep forgetting to do that. So they'll put in a 6 with Clearchus. What am I going to do? I don't think I have any more. Okay. Well, how well can I fight this? Basically, I can put it in a 4 on its own. I'll probably put Epicedidas because I want to get rid of the card because I can't pronounce his name. Which is a 4. So it's 4 versus 6. Goes 2 their way. So the league issue goes that way. 1, 2. Shucks. Never mind. Alright. So back to me. Oh, Strategos Tokens. I don't get any. He gets 2. So that's right. Back to me. What do I want to do? Got me diplomatic. Probably another military. Oh, the Oracle. That's right. It's interesting, the Oracle, wasn't I? Yes. Yeah, let's put it on the Oracle. So I'm going to put, let's get rid of these. Clearidas up. He's a 6. Great. So what can they do about it? They have a bonus of 5 with Keonis, but they do have 5s anyway. Nothing else can help, so they will have a 5. Which one? Well, they'll pick this one because it will get them a Strategos token. So it will be Keonis. And I win by 1, which is great. So I'm just leaning the assembly on by the skin of my teeth here. We both get a Strategos. So right. And then it's the last debate for the Aegeans. They have a military, they have a league, and they want another military. So the easiest one is 1 in the 0, and then they will put their strongest forward. So they have a 7 with Eurylochus. That's the best card they have. So get rid of these, and they put Eurylochus on the debate. What am I going to fight with? This is a military. I've got half decent stuff here with military. Well, okay, maybe. I have a 5. I have a 6 here. So Eteonicus. Eteonicus is a 6. So it's a 7 against 6. They win it by 1. Damn. That's 1. I get 3 Strategos off that though. They get 2. Probably going to run out soon. We're neck and neck anyway. 8 each. Let's get rid of these, and it's my final debate. So I don't want to look at there. What can I do here? So I could go for another military. I have a 5 on military. The War and Peace. I could fight it, but I'm not sure. I could use my king just to nick maybe one of their militaries, because I've got, so I can use +2 on any issue, or +1 on War and Peace. So I want to win this debate. So I think I'm going to nick one of his military. Actually, no. I want to do one in the middle. So if a debate ends up in the middle, then nothing happens in the turn for it. It's just ignored. So we want as many of these issues decided by one side or the other, so that we get to use those actions on the map. So I'm going to do it in the middle. I'm going to go for military, and I am going to play my king. So the Eurypontid king steps out and goes, right, yeah, we still got to fight here. So great. What do the Aegeans do about it? So they have a 5. They have a 6 with Alcidas, and that's their best, a 6. So they have a 6 versus my 7. Ooh, that was close. So I managed to grab it. Look at that. It's that's really it's really skin of the teeth stuff, isn't it? Four issues just on my side. However, I think I'm still not going to win it in that way, unfortunately, because the depth actually does count for who wins. So we're all done, and let's just get rid of those for each side, and that's the assembly phase over. Now we're going to see the results, which is the political phase. And the political phase is we find out the oration honour. I want to say that when you're drunk. The oration honour. Make sure there's no H's in there. And to do that, what we do is, so Did a side win the ostracism issue? In Athens, that's correct. So this issue here, the ostracism was won. So therefore, the aristocrats gain 3 honour, and the demagogues lose 3 honour. So 1, 2, 3. I've got to start calling them the aristocrats. It's just too amusing, isn't it? So that's done. So that's decided the honour of this area. It doesn't matter what everything else happened. The ostracism kind of does that whole thing, and they get to keep being the controlling faction. Okay, so we add up the boxes, and we're down in Sparta here, of all the issues. So I had 4 1s. That's 4. He had 2 2s and a 1, which is 5. So 5 versus 4. He won. Maybe I shouldn't have done the one in the middle. I should have done one of his. Probably that was probably not a good idea. Never mind. Not taking enough notice while doing all the live stream and stuff like that. I'm terrible at that. COG painting cowboys. Okay. Yeehaw. Yeah. Hope you do. Hope it's going well. No spilt pots or anything like that. So I lost. So we effectively swap honour. So I lose an honour point. He gains 1. So what that means is I'm officially last. Yeah, I'm not going to win this game, am I? No. Okay. After all that. Right. Okay, the other thing here is there is this assembly box in the middle. I didn't go through it. So we decide on the controlling faction. So whoever won the ostracism becomes the controlling faction. It already was, so it sticks with it. However, because they won, the favour of the assembly goes in their way. So we move to aristocrats, and this is kind of like a tiebreaker here. On my side, so the most issues becomes the controlling faction. Now that's me, because it's not actually the total of the numbers, it's the total of number of issues. So I become the controlling faction. Ha 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 ha. That's very nice. I lost honour, but at least I got control. That's okay, I suppose. Good. So we've decided everything to do with the assembly now. Now we do what's known as the strategy board contest. So with Athens, normally they would use their leaders if they were available. So let's have a quick look at their cards again. So this is a turn of the card kind of thing on grabbing these extra tokens. So the aristocrats, the best they can do is a 3. So they'll play a 3. Still got these from last. Best they can do is a 3. It's probably still better than that terrible hand for the demagogues. So they both used their leaders, didn't they? Yes, because of the ostracism. So the best they can do is a 2. It's all very, very sad. So that means that the aristocrat, I'm going to do it from now on, I swear. He receives a number of Strategos tokens indicated on the card. So his card is a 3. So he receives 3 of those tokens. Can we send them? Place in aristocrat pool. 1, 2, 3. No, that's wrong actually. Sorry, because it wasn't a faction leader, you only ever get 1. Okay. And actually it's not... Where are we? So we need to discard 2 of those. Each of them actually get 1 because they're not faction leader. So we add 1 to the demagogues, and that's all we do. So Sorry about the little confusion there. Yeah, so if it's faction leader, you get the number of the card, which could be 5, of course. It's likely to be 5. If it's somebody else, you just get 1 each. So that's that done. On my side, I used my king, but the bot didn't. So let's get the Agiad bot out. So they used their king, and they didn't use their king. So that means they used their king, and I used somebody else. Where's my hand gone? Doesn't matter who it is. I'll stick that guy in. And so because it's a 5, it's the king. He gets all 5. So it doesn't matter who I put in. Not a good thing. But he had a better hand than me. Certainly had a better hand than me. Oh, hang on. I sent it to the wrong pool, didn't I? I sent it to... let's wind that back. To the Agiads. Yeah, I did place it there. Okay. Why didn't it appear? Don't know. Let's do it manually then. So, Agiads are there. We'll just drag them in. So they've got a lot more Strategos tokens than I do. It's a little annoying. It's a tough game. It's a tough game. Okay. So we've done that bit. Now we go to the political issue segment. Are you lost yet? You probably are. I'm getting there. So we deal with certain of the issues which aren't to do with the map. So those would be War and Peace, games, or any of the unique issues for the two sides. So the War and Peace wasn't debated on, so that doesn't happen. And there are no games, and none of the uniques were actually picked up. So we do nothing here, and we just put the War and Peace back. So we're still at peace. Right, having done that, we now distribute the theatre issues. So so what you do in the physical game is these sort of bland tokens here. You switch them with tokens which has the colour of one of the sides. So we would normally switch that military with a orange military, that kind of thing. Now, with a nice bit of the vassal module, this is all done, or mostly all done, with does I think maybe has faults, and I think the faults has to do with if the tokens are a little bit further off the track, at the bottom of the track. So that should be good enough. Let's see over here. I think we're okay. Yeah. We've got this auto function which is assign theatre issue markers, and bingo, it's done. So the ostracism is put back because that has no relevance now. Okay, so I have 3 markers and 2 rumours. So rumours are added. So each side has 2 rumour theatre issues as well. Not each side, but each faction has them. Right, and we've got all these. So these are available, and now we have to place them. Ostracism issue goes again. And that military, which wasn't debated on, goes as well. So that's what we've got each side. Good. So what we also then decide is what's known as the honour order. So this is the turn sequence, sequencing. So whoever's got the most honour goes first. So honour 1 goes to, I believe, the aristocrats. Honour 2 goes to the demagogues. 3 goes to the Agiads, and 4 goes to me. I'm last, of course. Okay, so we've done that, and the placement happens in that order. So we start with the aristocrats and go round the table, if you like. So done the honour order. So the placement segment. Right, so this is where we go back to the strategy. So the aristocrats, crats, something like that, they were looking at expanding into... No, what was their... Can't remember now. What was their... Aristos, Sicily. They were going to Sicily, that's right. So, they're looking to play. So the issue order is another bit on the strategy matrix here. They're looking to play a league issue first. Okay. Yeah. Because, yeah, I'll explain why it's not the military. The military they cared about most, but now they place the league first. But there's a method to the madness here. Okay, so they want to place a league. Okay, are there anything? Okay, if they, yeah, oh, that's actually what they do. So where should we put the league? I suspect it might be Sicily. So we've got another flowchart here. Theatre issue placement. Have all the issues been placed? No. Is this the 3rd, 6th or 9th issue? No. Is there a friendly base in a granary theatre and or no base with a league issue in the queue? So, no, there isn't. Place a league issue in a controlled or contested granary theatre, else additionally send a military unit to granary theatre. Oh, no, actually, no, it's no. It's yes. It is yes. Sorry. Logic was wrong. Are there any PS issues available for placement? Yes, of course there is. Place the PS issue in the designated theatre in primary strategy priority order. So we will place the league in Sicily. So we take their league marker and we place it. Place the theatre issue in Sicily. So no, it's turned over and gone into this little box. Now this box is effectively a stack, and what we've just started is forming a stack, and that's on the bottom. Once we finish placing these issues, we go through and start playing the game. On the board, we turn over the issue on the top of the stack. So this means this is going last. Effectively, this is the last thing they do. Okay, aristocrats done. Then it's the demagogues. So the demagogues, what were the demagogues doing? They were doing expansion into Thessalia. So expansion into Thessalia. They would want to put a league. I don't believe they have a league. They don't have a league. So if they don't have a league, they would put a military as their next priority. So they would put this league, this military in Thessalia. Let's just place it. Okay, done. Then it's down to the Aegiads. The Aegiads were interested in Boeotia, weren't they? So their priority is military first. So they all place a military in Boeotia. Okay. Then it's me. What do I want to do? I'd like to... He's just put a military in. I'd like to put a military in Sparta. Now what a military in Sparta would do for us is it'll enable us to build some combat units. And I like that. Yeah. I'll put that military in Sparta. Back to aristocrats. So they've placed a league. So now they want to place a military, and it would go in Sicily again. Get the rumours out of the way. Military Let me just check the logic. If I'm not doing anything wrong here. Yeah, that's what they'll do. They'll put the military into Sicily. So that would have been done. Demagogues, they only have rumours. Okay. So rumours do nothing. So in the stack for a particular site, all they do is delay things. So it's just fluff in the stack. As you go down it, you meet rumours and nothing happens, kind of thing. It's a time delay. So with rumours, they always put that on top of issues from the other side. So they've got an option of Boeotia or Sparta here. So we'll do a bot here. D6, 1 to 3 Boeotia. It's a 5, so it's Sparta. So they've stuck a rumour on Sparta. Okay, down to the Aegeads. The Aegeads, on their strategy, they wanted to put a military. I think they then want to put a league. If I'm right. Yeah, league is next. And they'd want to put it in Boeotia. So they will do that. And then it's back to me. So I've got the rumours or diplomatic or the oracle. I'd like to put the oracle in Boeotia, I think, because I'd like us to win that. And we'll see what it does in a minute. Back to aristocrats. So this is the third placement. So with the bots, the third placement is always a rumour. So they're going to place rumours either on it'll go on Boeotia, because that's the only one with a Spartan issue on the top. So that goes to Boeotia. Demagogues. There isn't anyone to place, so where do they put that? I believe they'll just put that on any of them. So one. Or will they pass? Oh, they'll put it randomly. So we've got a D20 here, and of course there's a number on each of these theatres. So we'll just decide it's Naupactus. So that goes to Naupactus. Now, normally in the game, you wouldn't know what that was placed, and you think, okay, what's happening in Naupactus? But it's actually only a rumour. That's what you get with the multiplayer as opposed to these bots, I suppose. Aegeads, they're going to put a rumour, and they're going to put it. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So going from Sicily upwards, 1 to 4. Where do they place it? A 3. So it's 1, 2, 3. Naupactus. Okay. So the Aegeads are worried, and they want to put a delay in Naupactus. And it's to me. Now, I could play a rumour or not. It's just up to me. I'd like to play the rumours last if I could. So I want to put a diplomatic, and I will put a diplomatic again in Boeotia, I think. Or I'm trying to do this Thessalia bit. I just want to check up on what let's just have a quick look at what a diplomatic does. Okay, we could get to build an allied base in a competitive way. Do we care about that? Probably not. So in which case I will put my diplomatic in Boeotia again. Right, back round to the league, to the aristocrats. They want to put a league somewhere. I think we've placed everything on their chart for Sicily. Yes. Okay, what have they got here? It's only really with reference to Sicily. They'd want to build a league base and stuff, so I think they would go league to Sicily. Fairly narrow. Demagogues haven't got anything to place. Aegiads, they're military. Where would they want to put the military? I think they still want to play a military in Boeotia, I think. That was, they could actually have a third. They actually have a third interest. Yeah. There's a thing here. Yes. Yeah, so they play it in Boeotia, which is going to be a busy place this turn. Here I've got rumours to place, so let's just stick some rumours up over in Sicily, I think. Yeah. Back to aristocrats. They've got a rumour and they've got a choice of Boeotia or Sicily. 1, 2, 3 for Boeotia. 2 goes to Boeotia, so that's a big stack. Demagogues have nothing. Aegiads just have rumours. They could go to Sparta, Boeotia, or Thessalia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going up from Sparta. 3, so Boeotia. Okay. Oops. And finally, me with the rumours. Thessalia, I think. Just slow that down. Not sure why, but let's do that. Okay. Everybody's done. Everybody's put all their instructions down. So we need to resolve these issues. So in the normal game, it would be, again, in honour order. You'd flip over the top marker as long as you owned it. If you don't own any, so they're all from all the top of the stacks are all the other sides, then you have to pass. You don't do anything. So the aristocrats, they have an option of Sparta. So now a little fault, and I don't know if it is a fault with a vassal, but the only way I've been able to manage the other side's issues and flip them over is to actually change my side in the game. So I need to become an aristocrat, and then I can drag this, and it's rumours, so nothing happens. That's a demagogue rumour. Let's say if we zoom in, you can probably see it's got a DF in the corner. It's a demagogue faction, so it's theirs. So we send it back to Paul. Don't need it. Okay, then it's the demagogues. The demagogues have the option of nothing. Everything's a Spartan, top of the pile, so they have to pass. Then it's the Aegiads. It's when it gets interesting. So the implementation of Boeotia. Yeah, so we have to go through the logic first. So it's their turn to pick an issue. Does the primary strategy theatre have a friendly issue on top? Yes, because that's Boeotia is their primary strategy for them. So we reveal the issue. So I have to switch back. This is slightly tedious. You're appointed, yes. So turn it over, and it's an Aegiad rumours. So again, nothing much happens. Then it's on to me. What do I want to flip over? I can't flip over Boeotia. I do want to flip over Sparta, I think. Yes. So I'm going to flip over Sparta, which is my military. So what can you do with a military? Well, firstly, you can fight. But if the issue is in owning factions, city-state theatre, it's in Sparta, you may build military units, which is what I'm after. So we got a harder amount of military. So when building, what do we build? So for each base, you can build either 1 naval unit or 2 land units. So, we'll certainly build 2 land units. We need to zoom out because they're all on the other side here. So we'll build 2 land units, and for poo and giggles, we'll do a naval unit. And that's my issue resolved. Sent to Paul. Okay. Next, we're back to the aristocrats. So I need to switch sides. Okay, they have an option of Boeotia. That's it. So they flip over the Boeotia one. And what we got? We got more rumours. So nothing much happens there. Demagogues. That's unbelievable. They'll have to pass again. They haven't had a go yet. It's all Spartan. So over to the Aegiads. Aegiads are fixed on Boeotia, so they will switch around again. They will flip this over. So that is a Aegiad, because it's AK. Aegiad. I don't know what the K stands for. It's faction, but no. A king. Aegiad king. So they do a military in Boeotia. Okay, so how are we going to run this? Right, so let's look at the notes for their strategy. So the strategy is contested theatre, protect key allies of Boeotia. So there. So the priority is to commit 5 Strategos and follow military expedition flowchart. So they are going to do a military expedition. So military, I showed you what you could do on the home, in your home area, in your home theatre. You could create military, but when it's not in there, you've got 2 choices. You can do a military expedition, or you can do a raid. And this is saying do a military expedition. So a military expedition is a gathering for a battle. And if you end up in that theatre, there being opposing sides, there will be a battle. And so that's what we're going through now. So it says they commit 5 Strategos. So Strategos are the money to do things in the game. So 5 Strategos is the limit you can actually put down. So they're really going for it. Let's just get their hand. This is the Aegiads. They ain't messing around here. So we'll pick out 5 and put them in Boeotia. Okay, so that gives us the ability to do things. Next, you will do what's known as an expedition assembly. So this is about calling the forces in for the battle. So for each so this is a contested theatre. No, actually, yeah. So we as a side, we can respond to this. So we see this actually happening with the Strategos tokens. So we can place our Strategos tokens as well, including including me, the Europontids. So yeah, it's the reaction by the Athenian side. Let me just see what we do here. I kind of remember it, but I want to get it right. Right. Yeah, I can't find it now. Isn't that always the case? Okay, I can commit up to 0 to 4 Strategos tokens. I don't think I need to. I think I'll hold mine. And the other two can commit the same. Now, normally you can chat with your buddy on how much to commit here, but of course we've got bots. I remember seeing something about whether the bot will send Strategos tokens. Maybe it might be actually on the so Phormio, which is the bot. I call it Phormio in this game. Commanding General Military Expedition Resolution. So actually no, that's the wrong one. It's Military Resolution. Is Phormio the commanding general? We're doing the Athenians now. We're doing the aristocrats. So no, not. Does the aristocrats have any unresolved diplomatic, league, or military issues? Yes, I think so. So they won't add anything. So the demagogues. It's difficult to know as a question actually. The demagogues, I think they had a military, so they won't actually add in either. So they're not going to commit any Strategos tokens. Okay, that's fine, and I'm not either. So all that bit's done. So as we were, and normally the commitment is done. You kind of hold the number of tokens in your fist, and everybody reveals simultaneously when you're playing this. Okay, so now the Strategos tokens are there, you can do military movement. So it's commanding general first, which is the Aegiads. So the Aegiads can move things. So you can move until you have to stop. So you must stop when you enter the expedition theatre, which is Boeotia, or a contested theatre, which is not permitted to exit via the connection. Which it depends on the connection type here. So we have, and we're looking at the land battle here. I don't think we'll bother with the naval battle because that's just not going to be good against the Athenians. They already have a naval unit. So what do we want to commit? We have 5 Strategos tokens. So let's see what the Aegiads want to do that with their commanding general military expedition resolution. So we want to assemble military units in theatre equal to total friendly Strategos tokens committed. Have units been assembled? No. Is this a land theatre? Yes. Can a land unit assemble in theatre without naval support? Yes. So so if we wanted to go from either Aetolia, Isthmus of Corinth, or Sparta, we get there without the navy's help. We don't need naval help. Is there land units available? They certainly are. Move strongest land unit else closest to theatre. So we can do that 5 times. So I think we'll move the Spartans. So we go. We can leave Sparta because it's not contested. We can leave Isthmus of Corinth because it's not contested. This brown means you can only travel by land, and it's a land unit, so that's fine. So we can stick a Spartan there for 1 Strategos token. We can stick another one in there for 2, and we can do this for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the bot will always leave one land unit for each base in Sparta. So when we want another unit, Corinth has 2 and 2 bases, so they'll stay there as well. The only other spare one we have is in Aetolia, so that'll come across. So that's the 5 for the 5 Strategos tokens, 5 movements. Now we do the battle, and this is going to be fairly short and decisive, really. Okay, so we have the battle now, and what we do is we count up the military value on each side. Then we add a turn of a card from each side's deck, and whoever's biggest wins. So it's obvious the Spartans are much bigger. So their military value is 2 for each Spartan, so that's 8. 2 for the base is 10. 1 for each of the Peloponnese. So that's 15. Plus 1 for each Strategos marker. That's 20. And one thing I forgot is we forgot to move the 300, which will come along for free. So that's 20, and they're worth 22, plus 1 because they're a Strategos token themselves. So that's 23. What have we got? This is land battle, so we ignore the navy. So we have 1 land unit and 1 base. So this is a value of 3. So 23 to 3 is going to be fairly brief, but also not that effective. But anyway, we turn a card over. Let's do that. So the Spartans add a 1, 24. That's the big number in the corner. The Athenians add a 5. So impressive, but just not good enough. So that's a massive difference there. So losses. Now normally what happens is the loser calculates what they lose by how many winning units there are. Now there's masses of them. So there would be a lot of losses here, but we only have one land unit here, so that dies. It's returned to stock. Now the base here, during a land battle, bases count as both land units and naval units, and naval units cannot be removed as long as they have a navy with them. So this means that base stays because of the naval support. Now for the losses on the Spartan side, for each, so we had 1 Delian, which is worth, you'll need 4 of those to kill a Spartan. You'll need 2 of those to kill a Peloponnesian, and we only had 1 of them, so they actually caused no loss. Yeah, that's effectively that. We do have what's known as now battle honour. This is where you individually across the 2 sides gain honour. So if the commanding general wins the battle, his faction gains honour equal to twice the number of enemy units and bases eliminated. We eliminated 1 unit, so they gain 2 honour. And the nice thing, seeing as I didn't do very much in this, even though I was there providing moral support, so they get 2 honour, but I get 1. Okay. So on the other side, they lose honour equal to the number of losses they took. So they both lose 1. So not that decisive. I mean, it was impressive, but you know, you killed some Delians, and that's all. Okay, and that was the battle. So now we get rid of. We send all these back to stock. But one thing it has done is drawn out a whole load of Strategos tokens from the Aegiads, which they had far more. It basically their entire strategy board reward here that the king got by going out and doing his military thing. Kat, yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, if you catch up the rest of it on actually, I might be stopping this very soon because it's getting quite late here, and it's 2 hours of Pericles, and 2 hours of Pericles on a live stream is probably enough for anybody. My head is starting to hurt a little bit. It is a very odd game. It's, shall I say, odd not in a nasty way. It's just, yeah, different. Yeah, that's probably a nice word there. So, that was the Aegiad. So we're on to the Eurypontids going forth. So which, let's send that to Paul. So which one do we want to turn over next? So I think, well, I know Thessalia and Sicily are my own rumours, so there's no point in me turning those over. So I'm going to turn over the Boeotian one, which is a Eurypontid diplomatic. Okay, and we'll probably do this and then call it a night. And we haven't even got through one turn. How's that? Yeah, it doesn't seem like much of a game, but there's a lot to it. Okay, for diplomatic resolution, let's get the player aid out. Diplomatic resolution, and this is in Boeotia. So, is it a contested theatre? It is. So, commit up to 3 strategos. If strategos plus friendly treachery, we haven't got any treachery yet, greater than twice the enemy bases plus military unit value, convert a base into an allied base. So, I can commit up to 3 strategos. Okay, if I do that, I compare against the military strength of the base plus military. So a base is 2 plus 1 military is 3. So if I put 3, it's not greater than. It's got to be greater than twice. So no. So I can't do that. So if I place tokens, they convert, and it doesn't happen, then I can convert Strategos to treachery instead. So I'm going to put three Strategos tokens in there. 1, 2, 3, and that's going to earn me 3 treachery tokens. So treachery tokens are quite useful things, and they act as like 1 in a battle actually. So I get 3 of those, and then these are all returned to stock, I believe. Let me get that card out again. Do I get rid of them? Yeah, I think so. Okay, so that's my diplomatic done. Right, and we're gonna that cliffhanger, if it really is a cliffhanger. I don't know. Shall we say a Spartan moment? Shall we say? We'll end it there, and we'll come back to this when I can on a spare evening. Where my brain doesn't hurt quite so much as it does now. And so thank you for hanging on for the 2 hours. Hope it was useful. Hope it got something out of seeing the game and giving it a bit of a run through. Hopefully that's useful for you. Just have a quick look at our chat if there's anything. Anna, hi. Sorry, I didn't notice you appeared. Sitting on the shelf for 2 years, never played it. Yeah, actually, that's what happened here. Might have even been more than 2 years. Embarrassingly, it kind of. I did look at it and I went, "Whoa, what the hell is this?" And couldn't really work out. And I thought, well, hopefully at some point I'll get another 3 people together and do a 4-player, because it seems quite heavy, a lot more heavy than it at first looks. I got quite confused, and as I said at the beginning of the stream, a little bit intimidated by it as well. So this is exorcising some ghosts here, actually playing this. But yeah, give it a go. Hopefully it's given you a few ideas, and if you can get 3 other players, then it's quite chewy. If you know what I mean, there's quite a lot to it, and I think it will take a few plays before I get any idea of how to play it, and you need to get 3 other people who are willing to do the same thing, which may be rare. If you've got gaming buddies, regular gaming buddies, then you might be able to get through that. But I think on first and second run, it's pretty difficult to know exactly what to do in this game. I think that's possibly, if it has a problem, that's the problem. But everything else is pretty cool as far as I can tell. Anyway, I'll leave you now, and so wherever you are, good afternoon or good evening or good night or good morning, wherever you are around the globe. And hopefully you'll join in on a few of my other streams. Next one likely to happen is on Sunday, where we might be able to do more of our madcap co-op versions of Field of Fire Vietnam, which is going very badly. I don't know, actually. It's going okay, shall we say? It started off very bad. I think it's improved slightly in our Vietnam. Vietnam scenario. So yeah, pop in for that, and if you subscribe, you'll get to know when things happen on the channel, and hopefully I'll see you on some of the other videos and live streams. But until then, bye for now.